Doom is one of the best and most hype first-person shooters out there, offering hours of fun despite what its age may entail to most gamers beyond the retro gaming community. Its soundtrack is one that's held with reverence, with influence spanning from metal legends Metallica to Slayer. It's not often a promptly heavy metal soundtrack would show up in a mainstream game. Not only did the soundtrack basically jerk off us metalheads looking for some action, but also served as a great atmosphere piece for the game itself. Doom is a game in which you fight hordes upon hordes of enemies with a rush of power. That sense of power and badassery is the main conceit of Doom, thus having a metal soundtrack, the most badass music on earth, backing it was a great idea. The soundtrack works incredibly well within the game itself. It empowers the player to keep running through its levels and overall sets the tone for what the game is supposed to feel like. In some of the ports, the music was changed to be more atmospheric and slowed the tone rather than a badass heavy one. Suffice it to say, my playing style changed greatly to that of a calmer and steadier pace, which plays out as unfitting for a game about feeling like a badass. That simple change in music changed the game. That's why, as a companion piece to the gameplay, Doom's soundtrack works incredibly well, and that's not to be underestimated. However, when taken out of the context of the game, Doom's soundtrack is just a pretty generic metal album. Sure, I'll get headbanging the first time around, but afterwards I'd have no reason to revisit it. It doesn't deserve the almighty status that it has as a record. The reason why fans seem to hold it to such a mind-numbing level of pedigree probably comes as a bias from the game itself. As I mentioned earlier, the feeling of the game and the music are so intrinsic with one another. They play off each other's strengths, which culminates into something truly beautiful. I can appreciate and agree with that sentiment, but don't go and act like the OST is any more than an element of the game. Without the game, no one would be talking about it.